Hey, sports fans, welcome back to another episode of Bucky's Sports Show. I'm Bucky. I'm here this evening with BA. We're going to talk about the NCAA tournament this evening. Let's go ahead and start off with your thoughts on Bubba Cunningham.
North Carolina should never got in.
No,
No, they're in there because of one reason, probably him.
Yeah.
And the NCAA loves North Carolina.
Well, and then when the AD is the chairman of the selection committee.
Yeah, and then said he excused himself. It doesn't matter. You're the chairman. Your buddies are in there with you. They're not.
Oh yeah.
They're going to have your back. So
yeah,
that's the good old boy system there in the NCAA.
And he didn't recuse himself of every bubble team.
Right. Exactly. I mean, one of the things that really sticks out: 1-12 versus quad one wins. The ACC was down this year. Didn't have the quality of wins they needed. Teams were left out. West Virginia was 6-10 versus quad one.
Yeah.
Ohio State was 6-11 versus quad one. IU was 4-13 versus quad one. By no means do I think IU should have made the tournament either.
No, but when you compare them to UNC,
no, I agree. That's what I said.
Their quad ones are better. They had no loss outside of a quad one.
True, and
whereas UNC did.
I think all three of those teams deserve a spot in there before. Probably West Virginia maybe was probably the one that got hurt the most out of it. But the other thing is with that whole situation, they were playing decent at the end of the year, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And that's probably what edged them over the top.
Right.
But with that being said, like last year, all they spoke about when Indiana State was left out.
That's my gripe.
Was, number of quad one wins.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have the quad one wins. They didn't have the quad one wins. North Carolina has one quad one win, and they're in.
And I believe that's what Indiana State had last year.
Yes, exactly.
So last year, and that's my biggest gripe, because last night I got all pissed off again about last year.
Yep.
Because last year was all about quad one wins and not metrics.
Exactly.
This year it's apparently metrics and not quad one wins.
It's whatever.
There's
the big name schools and the big name conferences, whatever they
need to help them.
Whatever they need to help them.
Yep.
So with North Carolina, Indiana State's not North Carolina. North Carolina made it in. Indiana State did.
Right.
I mean, that's what it boils down to. The NCAA is, they can say what they want to about them, but they're a bunch of cheaters, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yep. That is true. All right, we want to start getting into this?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with the first four. First game is St. Francis of Pennsylvania versus Alabama State. I'll be honest, I did not spend much time on either of these four games. I got Alabama State as 3.5-point favorite.
I'll take Alabama State.
I would lean towards Alabama State.
I watched them play one time in the conference tournament there, and I mean they are what they are. I mean, they're first four in. So
yeah.
Next game.
The next game tomorrow night is UNC versus San Diego State. UNC is a 3.5-point favorite.
As bad as I hate to say it, I'm going to take North Carolina.
Yeah, I am too.
And the only reason why is, and this may have been why the selection committee came back to them and let them in. If North Carolina, and let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
If North Carolina played any of those three teams head-to-head, who would you take? At the end of the year. I'm talking if they played them tomorrow on a play-in game.
I know if they're playing IU or Ohio State, I'm probably going North Carolina. I'd have to look at West Virginia a little closer. I didn't see a whole lot of West Virginia this year.
Yeah.
But I would probably take UNC just because, they played Duke to a 2-point game.
Yeah, and Duke being hurt, I will say that. But Duke has won all year being hurt. I mean, they've had a lot of wins this year with someone being out.
Right.
So they've they've proven that they're a good team without, Flag
Yeah.
and some of their other main players, but they're just so deep.
Yeah.
So no, I agree. I would probably take North Carolina over all three of them, honestly. If they
Yeah,
played
I would
head-to-head.
too.
But we go back to what was the criteria to get in.
And that's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm not upset that UNC's in.
Yep.
I'm upset that there's not a stipulated,
Right.
like this is the
formula.
criteria.
Yeah, this is the criteria.
This is what it is.
This is the
Don't
formula.
waver from it from year to year. This is it.
Agree. So what do we have the next?
Wednesday, the first game is Mount St. Mary's versus American. American is a 2.5 point favorite. I believe this is also American's first ever trip to the tournament.
I believe so. And I'm going to take Mount St. Mary's.
Okay, and I was going to say American relied a lot on the 3-point ball this year. So I think some nerves and things like that, I would tend to lean with Mount St. Mary's as well. The last first 4 game is probably the game I might be looking forward to the most here in any of these first round games, and that is Xavier versus Texas. Xavier's favored by 2.5. They've got former Sycamore Ryan Conwell. Texas has got a couple former Sycamores and Jason Kent and Julian Larry. Happy those 3 got in.
Well, I'll tell you this much. On the betting line, I'm taking Conwell 3+ 3-pointer
Yeah,
to win the game.
Yeah.
I've rode that all year.
And you've ridden that for 2 years now.
He's made me some money, so thank you if you're listening out there. But yeah, it'll be an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Conwell, in my opinion, is Xavier's best player. I mean, he's their best scorer.
Yeah.
And like I said, he can light it up on any given night.
Oh, he went for 38 there in their conference tournament loss
Yep.
against Creighton.
38 loss against Creighton. Texas is one of those teams, though, that's been, like I said, they're tested.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they battled some good teams this year.
They're
and
SEC. They're night in, night out.
Night in, night out. They're playing top notch competition. So that's a tough call. This is a tough game.
It is a tough game.
It's a tough game because Xavier is, like I said, if they're on, if they're shooting their threes, they're as good as anybody.
Yep.
If they have an off night, Texas will beat them pretty handily.
Yeah.
So this is a tough one to call.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Xavier. I'm gonna say they're gonna be on.
I would probably lean towards Texas. Betting wise, I think I would probably take the plus 2.5. I don't know if I would money line them.
Yep.
But I think this is a 1 possession game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one.
So
I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
yeah. All right, let's get into the main bracket here, the one everyone waits for. First game on our list is Auburn versus the winner of Alabama State St. Francis, and whoever wins that game ends right there.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer.
That's Auburn all the way right there.
I'm taking Auburn there. Next matchup's interesting.
It is.
Louisville and Creighton.
Yeah.
Both teams. Louisville's much improved from last season.
Oh my goodness. And here's another one I have a gripe with the selection committee on. Louisville. They are ranked number 13 in the nation and they get an 8 seed.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And then they put them in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like they're an hour away from home, which is great for Louisville.
Yeah.
But just that what they did there with them again makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's like I said, that goes back to the NCAA. You know, we could talk about them, and we talk about Michigan getting a 5 seed. They probably should have been a little bit.
Yeah, Wisconsin's a 3 seed.
3 seed, and they yeah.
And I don't know, in the Big Ten tournament, I think Wisconsin, that might have been flip flopped. Michigan was the winner, and
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I agree, and they're in the same bracket too. So, Louisville Creighton, to go back to that game, I'm a McDermott fan. I mean, I
am too.
really hate going against him, and I'm going to go ahead and take Creighton in that one.
Okay, I am going to take Louisville only because it's being played in Lexington, and that's going to be a home game for them.
Mm-hmm.
They are favored by 2.5. But I just, being in Lexington, I don't know if Louisville loses in Lexington.
Next matchup is the Michigan UC San Diego. I'm not going against my boy Dusty, so I'm taking Michigan.
You know, I have been seeing everyone picking UC San Diego today. Everyone's picking them. I don't see how they can handle the 2 7-footers.
No, and even, and the guard play, I think that Michigan's guard play at the beginning of the year was their weakness when they went through that little spurt there where in the middle of the season, but their guard play has been as good as anybody in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
So they fixed that.
Yeah.
They're playing well. It's one of them teams again that they're gelling at the right time. Well coached. I mean, I'm a big Dusty fan anyhow. There's no hiding that. But just that their teams have good. It's good in the clubhouse right now. It's good in the locker room right now, and I just can't see them losing the first round game. I just can't. He'll have it motivated. Coming off the big win, coming off the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a goal for them.
Yeah.
Especially after the disappointing season last year and the mess that was left there. And, the transfer portal was great for Dusty. I mean, he brought guys with him. He brought Wolf in from Yale. I mean, that was a good find. I mean, like I said, it's the Wolf guy. The Wolf at the end of the year in the Big Ten tournament was as good as anybody I think in the country. Honestly, I really he's a hard to guard. I mean, he's hard to match up with.
Yeah.
Guy that's 7 foot and can handle a basketball. I mean, you just don't see those guys. Well, you do, but they're in the NBA.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's quite the weapon right there.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. And Golden's been. I mean, he's tested. Tournament tested.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dusty's tournament tested.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are ready to go. I think.
Yeah, I agree. And Michigan being a 2.5-point favorite, I think that is easy money.
I think it's going to be $100 game for me.
I think that is easy money right there.
It is. I'm jumping all over it.
All right. Next up, we got Texas A&M versus Yale. We got Texas A&M as a 7.5-point favorite. As of right now,
I like A&M. I don't know about line, but I do like A&M to win.
I may take Yale to cover, but A&M to win.
Yep.
Which is what I did do. I did take Texas A&M to win. Their coach they've just been playing really well here last couple weeks.
The next matchup will be the play-in game, North Carolina San Diego State versus Ole Miss.
Yep.
Again, another one of them ones. If North Carolina would get in, they could give Ole Miss a game. Like I said,
they could give them a game. They could.
Because, I mean, we've seen North Carolina play with Duke.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen North Carolina, at times look really well. Beginning of the season, they were awful.
Right.
But they have improved. I'll probably still take Ole Miss.
Yeah. I've got Ole Miss down. I don't know. I just think, again, SEC, they're battle tested every single night. Whoever comes out of that first 4 game, I don't know if they'll be able to keep up the entire game.
Iowa State, Lipscomb. Here's one that I'll probably take Iowa State, but would not be shocked if they're not upset.
I'll be honest. When I saw this, I did not like this for Lipscomb. However, Iowa State's a little banged up right now. Their starting point guard, he missed the quarterfinal with a strained muscle. Depending on how long that lingers and all that, Lipscomb, I watched them in their conference tournament. They can shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
They average 79.3 points a game. They only give up 67.3. And when you look at Iowa State's number, they average 80 a game and give up 67.2. And it's a 13.5 point favorite. Lipscomb, I think, covers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they win or not. But if Iowa State has the injuries and their starter is out,
I agree.
I would not be surprised of an upset right there.
Yeah, that's one that I would put on upset watch.
Yeah,
definitely. Marquette, New Mexico. I have not seen New Mexico play at all, so I have seen Marquette play. The couple games I did see them play, they played really well. One guy had a triple-double the night I watched him play. So, I don't know much about New Mexico.
Marquette's a 3.5 point favorite. New Mexico averages 82.2 points a game compared to Marquette's 76.9. And New Mexico gives up 71.3 to Marquette's 67.6.
Yeah.
Something's going to give either Marquette's defense or New Mexico's offense.
I'm going to take Marquette in this one.
And I have gone chalk the entire way in that bracket, so I went with New Mexico.
Good.
Just for a little minor upset there.
Yeah.
Just because there's going to be one somewhere in there, so.
Yeah.
Don't know if I picked the right one or not, but.
By call, I'm taking Iowa State, but if I see an upset there, I'm going to go with Lipscomb.
Yeah.
We're going down to the next bracket there. The Raleigh.
Michigan State, Bryant.
Oh yeah,
that's an obvious Michigan State.
I'm taking MSU to roll.
Now I will say Bryant can score a lot of points. They average 82.5 on the season, but they've not played anything like Michigan State this year.
No.
So.
And I'll take Izzo any day of the week.
Yeah, and Michigan State is an 18.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
So that would probably be a pretty good line because it'll probably end up around 20 somewhere.
Yeah.
So how we want to do this? Go down the line or?
Yeah, let's go down to Florida.
All right.
I'll take Florida over Norfolk State. Florida's playing as good as anybody in the country right now, so
Florida
well deserved number one.
The one seeds aren't even discussed.
Yeah.
That is definitely Florida. They're a 28.5 point favorite.
I
probably won't touch that one.
I won't either. Here's an interesting one. UConn, Oklahoma.
Yep. UConn's favored 4.5.
I'm going to take Oklahoma.
Okay. I went UConn.
And the reason why I'm taking Oklahoma is I've seen UConn. They're not the same UConn as the last 2 years. Even Hurley will say they're not the same team. They definitely go on slumps throughout the game where they may not score for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just don't think they're going to be able to get by with that against Oklahoma.
Right. No, they won't.
They're streaky. I've watched them play 3 or 4 times this year, and every time they've just been on. They go through a lull during the game, especially if they get McNeely in foul trouble or something of that nature, and then they struggle a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I went UConn. They won two in a row.
Yeah.
Looking for their third.
Yeah.
I think they come in a little fired up.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think they're the same team. I mean,
they are definitely not the same team, but I think they are good enough to knock off Oklahoma.
Memphis, Colorado State.
This one is intriguing.
I'm taking Colorado State.
And I took Memphis. Memphis is favored by 2.5. I was torn on this one. But I went Penny Hardaway.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm going Colorado State.
Fair enough.
The next matchup, I'm going Maryland.
Yeah,
Maryland, Grand Canyon.
Maryland's favored 10.5. I would definitely go Maryland here.
Maryland's got the young freshman Queen that's had a great year.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to be too hard to handle for Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I agree.
Missouri Drake. We're very familiar with the Drake squad.
And I'll be honest, Missouri's a 6.5 point favorite, and I took Drake.
Yeah.
I like how Drake plays. Is it McCollum or Collum or whatever? Ben McCollum. He has done a fantastic job at Drake. Drake is a team that lost absolutely everything last year.
Yep.
Except for one player, and he just comes back, and they didn't miss a beat.
No, I'm taking Drake also. I just think that they're going to give Missouri fits. Playing at Wichita, so
yeah.
I mean, I could ride with Drake on that one.
Yeah.
Next team, I'm taking Texas Tech.
Yep.
Versus UNC Wilmington, is that right?
Yes, Texas Tech is a 15.5 point favorite.
I think that's
I think that's pretty clear cut.
I do too.
Game.
I don't know about covering or all that. I haven't checked that enough, but I'd definitely take them on the money line. I mean, it won't pay much, but Kansas, Arkansas.
This one is interesting. Kansas is a 4.5 point favorite. The numbers line up almost identical.
Kansas has struggled a little bit this year. They've been kind of a letdown for me. Earlier in the year, I had them being probably a number 1 seed early on in the year, and they have
they come in unranked.
They've really hit the struggle bus. I'm going to take Arkansas here.
I did take Arkansas. I really think Arkansas is just playing better right now.
Yeah, I agree. Last game in the bracket is St. John's Omaha. And I like watching St. John's play. They do that.
Kudos to Omaha on their first ever tournament appearance, but it's going to be a quick one.
I think it'll be a quick one. I think the Johnnies there are maybe the best defensive team in the country.
St. John's will be a hard out for whoever they play.
Yeah, they will be. I'm definitely taking those guys.
Yep, absolutely.
We got Duke over here in this other bracket as the number 1 seed. We can just go ahead and pencil those guys in.
Yeah, Duke is no doubter there.
Like I said, with Duke, they fought injuries all year, and it doesn't matter. I mean, they're 31-3. Their losses came earlier in the year. The Clemson loss was at Clemson with Gillis hurt.
Yeah.
So
and Duke is my last gripe of the selection committee here. I don't understand, again, Auburn's lost 4 out of their last 5, getting an overall number 1 seed compared to Duke, who won the ACC tournament without their best player.
Right. I agree.
I don't understand that thinking. Again, you look at it, chairperson's UNC AD, how much influence did he just not have it in his heart to give it to him?
Probably.
I mean, come on.
I mean, there's no doubt. Here's a question out of that game. Do you even play flag?
No.
I don't.
No.
I wouldn't either.
No. Give him another day.
I would let him. Let's see. Is that a Friday game?
I'm not sure on that.
I think it's a Friday, Sunday. I would probably. I'd probably not playing Friday and get him some minutes, maybe Sunday. Just depends on how it's going.
If I did play him on Friday, it would be at the tip, and he would come out at the TV timeout.
Yeah.
And he may not see the floor the rest of the night just to see how he was on it and go from there.
Next game, Mississippi State Baylor.
This is a coin tosser.
It is.
Mississippi State is a 1.5 point favorite.
With that being said, I'll take Mississippi State.
Yeah, that is what I did. I went with the SEC team just because of their they get tested every night.
Yep. Here's a nice matchup too. Oregon Liberty.
So this is one I told you last night when we were watching the draw that I liked Liberty right up until I saw the game was being played in Seattle, Washington.
Yep, I'm taking Oregon.
So I've got Oregon. They're 6.5 point favorite. Liberty may cover that, but Oregon wins the game.
Yeah. Arizona Akron. And here's Arizona is the notorious chokers in the NCAA tournament.
They really are. And they are a 13.5 point favorite.
I'll probably take them to win the first round.
I
would like to take Akron. But
I will say Akron averages 84.4 points a game.
Yeah.
But they haven't played anyone in the top 25.
Right.
And that's going to kill them against Arizona.
Yeah.
End of the day, I got Arizona in that one.
BYU VCU. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Mormons.
Okay, I'm going VCU.
Okay.
BYU's a 2.5 point favorite, and the reason why I'm doing that is because Seth Davis said BYU was going to go on a huge run to the Elite Eight, and I don't think he knows what he's talking about, so I'm going VCU.
Wisconsin, Montana. I'm going to take Wisconsin because they have really played pretty well the second half of the season. Well, pretty much all season.
Yeah.
The second half of the season,
Yeah.
they have been a solid, complete team.
Yeah.
It's your typical whiskey team. They
Yeah.
they get a bunch of guys that can shoot it, a bunch of guys that play hard. And
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And I'll be honest, Wisconsin minus 16.5. I kind of like Wisconsin to cover there too.
Yeah.
I don't know if Montana can play with them.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Now, with that being said, I haven't seen Montana play this year
Right.
either, but I don't think they can play.
St. Mary's Vandy, 7 versus 10.
St. Mary's a 4.5 point favorite.
I'm going to take Vandy.
I went Vanderbilt as well. They have lost so many close games this year.
They have been in almost
In the
every game.
SEC.
Yes, I agree.
And if they don't win, they are going to cover 4.5.
Yeah.
Unless they just foul and it ends up being 5 or 6. But
Yeah.
it's going to be close throughout.
They have, even in their losses, they played well, Vandy has. So
Yes.
I will take them. And then the last round is Alabama, Robert Morris. Sorry, Robbie, but I'm taking
I got
Alabama.
out. That's Alabama going away. They're a 22.5 point favorite. They'll probably even cover that 22.5 unless they do something stupid.
Oh, next bracket is Houston, SIU, Edwardsville. I'd love to take the boys from Edwardsville, but
I tell you what,
I'm gonna go ahead and take
SIU Edwardsville won me a lot of money up at Holman Center when I saw they came in as an underdog and I saw them shooting in the warm-up. With that being said, Houston's going to drill their ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Gonzaga, Georgia. That's another coin flip game for me.
It is. Yep, it is. Gonzaga is a 6.5 point favorite.
I'll probably take Georgia just because they played in the SEC.
And this is the one, I think, coin flip SEC game. I went the other direction. I went Gonzaga, but only because they average 86.6 points a game.
Yeah.
And defensively, each team gives up 69 a game, so it's going to be whoever has the better offense, and I think that's Gonzaga in this game.
So Clemson, McNeese. I'll take Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson's 7.5 point favorite. Now I did learn one thing. I thought McNeese was always McNeese State, but
So did I.
apparently it's just McNeese.
I got you.
I was unaware of that. I believe their university is McNeese State, but their basketball and all their sports go with just McNeese,
Okay.
which I think is extremely weird, but
Hey.
throwing that knowledge out there, which has absolutely nothing to do with the game of basketball. Numbers wise, they're actually equal, but Clemson, Clemson versus top 25, 2-1, and Duke's only lost in the ACC, so I'm going Clemson there.
And Purdue, High Point. I will take Purdue.
I am a fencer on this one. I am only going Purdue because High Point, man, they can shoot it, but will they shoot it in their first ever tournament appearance in the limelight? How will they handle that? And Purdue's always good for a big time upset as well. But I do think High Point covers the 8.5 points that Purdue is favored.
Interesting. I'll probably go the other way on that.
Okay, well
I think Purdue wins.
You lose money because
I think Purdue wins in a landslide, and the reason why, I mean, Purdue, and like I said, Purdue has been well scouted in the Big Ten. I mean, every team they go against in the Big Ten, they know how to play. And if you hadn't played against Smith and you haven't played against the big fella, they're going to be hard to handle.
I understand what you're saying.
They're going to be hard to handle. And like I said, until you get a go, everybody looks at Smith and Waller and them guys and think, oh, we can guard them.
The Purdue's solid. Don't hear what I'm not saying.
Yeah, well, no, I know.
Purdue's not playing well. High Point's playing extremely
They're not
well.
playing well right now. They're not playing well because some of the Big Ten teams have found out you need to double team Smith on the screen pick and rolls. Take his vision away.
Yeah.
You can do that, you can be successful, but I just don't think that Kaufman ran.
He said Giffa's going to double team down there too. And
yeah, we'll see though. Kaufman ran though, I think goes off for about 30 against them, and it's just going to be a long night for the High Pointers.
Night for High Point. They're going to have to knock down shots for my plus 8.5 to work. But I do think if there's going to be a major upset, it's going to be this game or that Lipscomb game we were talking about earlier. I don't see any other huge upset really on that.
Illinois and the Texas Xavier winner. I'll go ahead and take the Illini. I think they're streaky though too,
Okay.
but they can they can score some points on any given night.
And I know I said earlier I was going to go Texas.
Yep.
I'm looking at my bracket here and the sheet I have here in front of me. I actually have Xavier down.
And you got them beating Illinois?
I have them beating Illinois.
Okay.
So I guess I need to go back and change that to Texas cover and then Xavier money line in there.
Kentucky, Troy. I'll take Kentucky. Although I'm not sold on Kentucky, but I will take Kentucky.
Kentucky's 10.5 point favorite. But
yeah. UCLA, Utah State.
This is an interesting one. UCLA is a 5.5 point favorite.
I'm probably going to take UCLA, but I'm not sold on them either.
I'm not either. And Utah State is actually 1-0 versus top 25. I don't know who that one is. I did not look that up.
Yeah, I don't know who it is either, but I'll go ahead and stay with UCLA just because they're Big Ten, and it's hard to say. Hard to call them.
Yeah, I mean, they're
it's what it is.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Wofford. I watched Wofford play. They can shoot it.
They can.
They put up a bunch of points and all. I watched them, but they're not going to be.
No, this is Tennessee going away.
That's Tennessee running away.
Tennessee's 18.5.
That game's in Lexington also, so that's fairly close to them.
That's a home game.
Go back up to the south. Is that where we're going?
Yeah, Auburn versus Louisville.
I've got Auburn Creighton, but I'm still going to take Auburn.
Well, I'm going upset here. I'm going Louisville over Auburn.
You are.
And I know I was on the record a couple weeks ago saying Auburn was by far the best team in the country and that they would probably win the national championship. However, they lost 4 out of 5 since I've said that, and they are going to be playing Louisville basically at Louisville. So,
okay.
Give me the Cardinals and Chase Roten to have a good evening that day.
I'm going to take, like I said, I'm taking Auburn. I just think that's. I think Bruce Pearl's going to get them together, get the boys together, and then get it lined out. Michigan and A&M is who I have.
That is who I have as well.
And I'm going to take Michigan. I'm taking the boys in blue.
I took A&M.
Okay.
To me, this was a coin flip game. Again, like I said earlier, I only went against the SEC in one coin flip game. So
We got next game, Ole Miss, Iowa State, and I'm going to go Ole Miss here.
I went Ole Miss strictly because I'm not sure of Iowa State's health.
Yeah.
And if Lipscomb ends up upsetting them, Ole Miss will beat Lipscomb.
Who you got next? Marquette, MSU?
I've got New Mexico, Michigan State.
I'm taking Michigan State out of
I've
this.
got Michigan State.
I
That's
just think Izzo and I think the boys in green are pretty good this year. So.
Izzo. You don't bet against Izzo in March. You just don't.
Then we go down here to the west. I'll go ahead and take Florida over Oklahoma.
Yeah, Florida. I've
You
got
got
actually
UConn.
Florida over UConn. But it's still Florida. Still the same result.
Who you got next to match up?
I got Memphis versus Maryland.
I've got Colorado State versus Maryland, but I'm gonna have Maryland come out.
It's Maryland. I don't see Maryland losing, no matter who they play. Next, I got Drake versus Texas Tech.
Yeah, and I'm afraid Texas Tech's gonna be a little bit too strong.
Yeah, that's where the Valley stops in their run in March right there.
I agree with that. Then we got Arkansas St. John's, a couple of the old Kentucky boys.
I'm telling you, in the battle of former Kentucky coaches, I am going with Rick Pitino on this one.
I am too.
I said I go SEC in a coin flip game. This is not a coin flip game.
Yeah, I'm taking the John's.
St. John's will run in this one.
Guess we'll go over to the east. I'm going to go ahead and pencil Duke and
Mississippi State. That's Duke all the way.
Oregon and Arizona.
That is what I have. I went Oregon just because of Arizona's notorious choking in the NCAA tournament.
I am too, plus that game's in Seattle.
That is a factor as well.
Next game, I've got BYU, Wisconsin. I think you got VCU.
I got VCU, Wisconsin. I've got Wisconsin.
I'm still taking whiskey.
I'm rolling with Bucky the Badger there.
I am too. I think their guard plays better than BYU's.
Yep. Next up, we got Vanderbilt versus Alabama.
And Vandy did they beat them head to head?
No, that was actually a blowout in favor of Alabama.
During the regular season?
Yeah, let me see here real quick what that score actually was. Because I was thinking it was around 20 points. Because I had thought it was a close game, and maybe even Vandy beat them, but they lost at Alabama 103-87, and they only played them the one time.
Okay.
The team they actually beat was Tennessee.
That was who I was thinking.
That was their big upset.
Okay, I'm going to take Bama anyhow. So it was a.
Yes, I am taking them as well.
I think Bama's a better team.
Bama is a much better team.
Next game in the Midwest, I'll take Houston over Georgia. You got Houston.
I got Houston
Gonzaga.
over Gonzaga there.
Then we got Clemson Purdue.
Versus Purdue. I've got Clemson, mainly because if that's I could see an upset there.
I'm taking Purdue.
Okay.
I think that I know Painter. They get on. Purdue fans are up and down about Painter, but the guy wins.
He does. He absolutely does.
I'm taking Purdue. Illinois, Kentucky. This is an interesting matchup in my book. Of course, you've got Xavier.
I've got Xavier, Kentucky.
And I'm going to take Illinois here.
Okay, I went Kentucky.
And this is where I got to make some pick that's got to be my run.
Mm-hmm.
And this is I'm gonna run Illinois out in the Sweet 16. It may bite me.
Well,
Now they're liable to get beat first round, but I mean it's
yeah.
the price you got to pay.
Yeah, it's March.
I got to take Illinois out. Them and Purdue. I'm gonna run them out in the Sweet 16, but we'll see what happens.
Yep.
I mean, we'll see.
Yep.
UCLA, Tennessee. I just think
I've got Tennessee in that.
I just think Tennessee's too strong for UCLA.
I do too.
Now we go back up to the South. We've got Auburn, Michigan.
I have Louisville, Texas A&M.
Okay.
And this is probably where I get bitten in this bracket. But I think the magic of Louisville runs out and Texas A&M moves on.
I think Auburn advances.
I would not be surprised.
And like I said, I'm rooting for Michigan. I hope they do, but I just think Auburn maybe, like I said, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
That's why they play them. Ole Miss, Michigan State.
Yeah, I've got Michigan State.
So do I. I've got MSU going out there. Florida, Maryland.
I've got Florida. I'm rolling with the Gators this year.
I am also. I'm rolling with the Gators. Texas Tech, St. John's.
I got St. John's.
Same here. I've got the red man there, the red storm there, whatever they're going by this week. Duke, Oregon.
I've got Duke.
Same here. Wisconsin, Bama.
I got Alabama.
I have Wisconsin.
Okay.
Houston, Purdue.
I got Houston, Clemson. I'm going Houston.
It's played in Indianapolis.
It is. Purdue's got to get there first.
Boiler up.
And Kelvin Sampson's not going to like the reaction he gets from the Indy crowd.
Boiler up. I'm going Purdue on this one. They may bite me in the butt real quick, but they will. It happens. Illinois, Tennessee.
I've got a great rivalry game here in Kentucky, Tennessee.
That is.
And I am going good old Rocky Top.
I think this is where the Fighting Illini run out of gas. Although, playing in Indianapolis.
Playing in Indy will energize them a little bit.
They're going to take Tennessee. Still going to take Tennessee there. Okay, back up to the South. I've got Auburn, Michigan State.
I got Texas A&M, Michigan State. I am going Michigan State.
So am I. I've got Sparty in the Final Four.
Yep.
Florida, St. John's.
I said I'm rolling with Florida this year. Florida's my national champion.
Florida's.
I just from what I saw in the SEC.
Duke and who you got down here?
I got Duke, Alabama.
I've got Duke and Wisconsin.
I got Duke.
I have Duke also. Now I've got Purdue, Tennessee down here at the bottom.
So I got Houston, Tennessee. I'm going Tennessee.
I'm going Tennessee against Purdue.
And I will say I did look this up. There have not been 4 1 seeds in the Final Four since 2008.
Right.
This looks like a year all 1 seeds could do it, but the likelihood of it is not high.
Well, I've got Michigan State in there, so that's the number 2 seed.
Yes, yeah, I have 2 2 seeds, 2 1 seeds.
Oh yeah, I got Tennessee too.
Yep.
They're a 2 seed.
Yep.
MSU, Florida.
Go Gators. I got Florida.
I know. So do I.
I just in that Florida Michigan State, I don't know if Michigan State can shoot well enough to keep up with Florida.
Yeah, I agree. I took Florida also.
Duke, Tennessee. As much as I would love to see a Florida Tennessee national championship game, I got the Dukies.
I'm going Duke because if Flag's healthy, I have them. They're tournament tested. I mean, they're talent wise, 1 through 6 is I think better than Tennessee's 1 through 6. National champion. You got the Gators?
I got the Gators.
I hate to say it, but I'm taking the Blue Devils.
All right. I got that game as 77-72 final.
I've got it 79-71 Gators. Or Duke. I'm sorry, Duke. I just think that Duke's too strong.
Duke's solid. Duke, there's no doubt. Duke is solid.
My tournament bracket's going to ride on the Fighting Illini and Purdue and Michigan State. They're going to be my boy. I got to be loyal to the Big Ten.
And I always take a Cinderella team every year, and this year I just do not have that major upset.
I don't need if I could pick a Cinderella team out of this bunch, though.
And I may have to go in and swap my Memphis, Colorado pick.
I'd say Colorado State could be the sleeper this year.
Because I did not take a 5-12 upset, and there is going to be one.
I took the Colorado State.
So I may have to go back and take Colorado State in that, but...
Another team that could,
But I did that really rush last night as I was prepping for this today, and I should have looked at that just a little bit closer.
Yeah, if there is a sleeper in this year's tournament, I'm going to pick two sleepers. Colorado State may be one of them. And maybe the Akron Zips if they can get by Arizona.
Yeah.
There's another team that might be a sleeper.
My potential sleeper is going to be High Point.
Hell, I don't know about them.
I'm just saying, they can shoot it. When I watched them, they shot it well. But again, it's their first tournament.
Their women's team made it in too, correct?
I believe so. So, how do they handle the limelight for the first time is going to be the question.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's that. Do we want to go back talk our top 14 Big Ten?
We could do that.
Last time we were together, we talked about best 14 or our top 14 Big Ten teams.
Yeah, if we could recreate the Big Ten.
Yeah. So I have the original 10 in Indiana, Purdue, Northwestern, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, and Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to boot some out and put some in.
Oh, that's it. That's all I have in the current Big Ten.
Got
just the original Big Ten.
Going 14 teams, though.
Yep. Everyone else in the Big Ten's out.
You're just going 10.
I'm going to add 4.
Okay. All right.
My 4 I'm going to add is Notre Dame, Louisville, Kansas, and Kentucky.
Kentucky?
Yep.
You're going to pull them away from the SEC.
Yeah, okay. If I could.
All right. Let me finish writing mine down because I had it at home and I forgot it.
I was on the fence with Kentucky. I went back and forth between them and Mizzou, but I just thought the rivalries with Kentucky would be much better than the Mizzou-Illinois rivalry. Or Mizzou-Kansas.
Michigan State. Okay. So I'm going to staying with Michigan. Oh, I got Michigan State right there. Michigan State, IU, Purdue, Notre Dame.
Yep.
Wisconsin, Minnesota, Penn State, Nebraska, Kansas, Illinois, Ohio State, Iowa, and my 14th is Pittsburgh.
So you're rooting out Northwestern.
Rooting out Northwestern and Rutgers.
Team that's been in it since the beginning. You're getting ready.
They're going. I mean, this is all going to be, and this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at it in 4 or 5 phases. I'm looking at number one, college football, because that's where the money's made.
It is.
College basketball, men's college basketball is 2. Women's college basketball, 3 is what I'm going with here.
Okay.
And then we're going to go baseball, 4. And just a combination of all the rest of the sports and stuff. So our big factor was football.
Yeah.
And adding Notre Dame, I think, is a no-brainer.
Yes.
And that's also a no-brainer, really, in women's basketball.
Oh yeah.
Men's basketball at times. I mean, they
have their seasons.
Yeah. And baseball. They're usually got a pretty good baseball program.
Yeah.
So that's what drove me there. Michigan across the board in all their sports. Michigan State the same way.
Yeah.
IU has now become a football school, so Purdue is not a football school.
They are not.
But they have been.
But they have
past.
everything else.
But they've got their women's basketball has been rough. They didn't make the Big Ten women's tournament this year.
Well,
but they have won a national title.
Historically, Purdue women's basketball is pretty solid.
Wisconsin, same way across the board. They're pretty good. Minnesota. If I had another team that was going to be out, it probably would have been Minnesota.
Okay.
One of the originals, if I did, but they're okay. I mean, they're
decent.
Someone's got to have someone they can beat up on.
Yeah.
Penn State is driven by football and wrestling.
Okay.
Wrestling, they're the best. The last 5 years, the best in the country.
Yep.
They dominate that.
Yep.
So, and they're a quality football school. There's no doubt about that. I mean, year out. Basketball, they've been up and down. Volleyball, women's volleyball, very good women's volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
Got to keep them around. Nebraska, same way.
Nebraska's became the national power in volleyball.
Yes, so you got to keep them there. Football, they've got the potential. They've got the pedigree. Kansas is there because of basketball.
Yep.
And their football program is probably better than Northwestern's.
Their football program reminds me a lot of what IU's was.
Yeah.
Every year there's hope, and then it just gets obliterated.
But they're probably better than Northwestern's football program.
Oh, sure.
And they're definitely better in basketball. They're definitely a powerhouse in basketball.
I mean, let's be honest. Northwestern's in the Big Ten for their academics.
Yes. Which, that don't matter anymore.
No, it really doesn't.
It doesn't. They don't care.
You're right, it doesn't.
Illinois, keep them around.
Yep.
Ohio State, definitely football powerhouse, usually good in baseball.
Yeah.
Basketball, they've had their runs too.
Yep.
Women's sports, they're pretty good in that. Iowa. And then the only reason why I put Pittsburgh in here is so we'll match up someone out there with Penn State.
Okay.
We got a little rivalry there. You got a little Penn State. Otherwise, my teams on the bubble would have been leaving Northwestern in, which I just don't know. Louisville was on my list, and Cincinnati.
Okay.
And Cincinnati is the last few years solid football program.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see them as Big Ten. I just don't have them.
No, they don't have that Big Ten pedigree.
The other one was Iowa State.
I could see that.
And Pittsburgh and Iowa State a coin flip.
Yeah.
If they went 16 teams, I would definitely add Iowa State.
Yeah.
So they would have their rivalry with Iowa and Nebraska out there. I mean, they've got their little thing.
Yeah. If we went 16, I would add Iowa State and Mizzou.
And Mizzou. That was my other school too. Iowa State and Mizzou. Definitely would have had those two.
Yeah.
And 16 would probably be the ideal number to go.
I think 16.
And I would go with Iowa State and Mizzou. That would be a nice little rivalry between them and Illinois. And
with Mike Kansas, and I think you had Kansas as well.
Yep.
That's another rivalry there too.
Yeah, and another school that brings basketball and a football school.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see that. Now, here's a question for you today. Just heard that little bit of talk between the Big East and ACC combining down there. Have you heard anything on that?
I have not heard anything on that. I think if that happens, Butler has to look at moving.
Well, yeah, I think that's what
There's no way they're an ACC school.
Well, and
then what do they do with football? Because
that's
Big East
what I
doesn't
said.
have.
That don't make sense to me having
But I
a
don't.
Big East and ACC combining.
No.
I don't see that as an option.
If you're going to do it, you're going to do it for basketball only.
It would have to be basketball only because the only Big East school that I can think of, well, maybe two, that has Division I football is UConn and Boston College.
Is Boston College in the Big East?
Maybe they're not in the Big
I
East
think they're
anymore. They may
ACC.
have already went to the ACC.
I think they are.
So really, it would be UConn, and their football program is not. I mean, it's
Yeah, Boston College ACC now.
okay. So they've already went. So I don't see that being beneficial to anybody.
No, that would just be a weird.
It would just be basketball only.
Yeah, that.
And because let's see, you got DePaul, Xavier.
Yeah, so the Big East is Butler, Creighton, DePaul, Georgetown, Marquette, Providence, Seton Hall, St. John's, UConn, Villanova, Xavier. You have one football school.
Yeah. I don't see it happening.
No, I don't see that at all.
So maybe that rumor's just diminished. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I didn't like it when I heard it.
But I also think it's crazy that the ACC also has California, Stanford,
Yeah.
and SMU.
Yeah.
The Atlantic Coast Conference.
Change the name.
Yeah, All Coast.
Yeah. Yeah.
All Coast Conference.
Yeah. I mean, you
Get
pretty
someone
much
from every coast.
and really, do we not look at it and just change all the conference name? I mean, the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The Big 18 now. I mean, you might as well make it
Yeah.
something that makes sense. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it boils down again, all about the money.
100%.
All about the money.
It's not about the money. What are we doing?
That's right.
All right, you got anything else for us, Steven?
I'm good.
All right, well, that'll be it for this time. If you have any questions for BA and I that you'd like answered or a topic discussed, email us at buckysportshow@gmail.com.
You need even tell us we're a bunch of dumbasses? It don't matter. We'll take it.
We'll take it. Again, that's buckysportshow@gmail.com. And that'll wrap up this episode. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And we will see you next week. And we'll probably break down the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 matchup possibilities that we got wrong tonight.
We'll grade our papers.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.